agents. But I think the biggest question right now is what are they going to do with the offensive coordinator? Because, yes, I said I'm not happy with the defense, and I wasn't happy with the players. But ultimately, the biggest issue with this team probably all season long was the offensive coordinator and the play calling. I'm not letting the players off the hook, but a change has to be made. When you have this much money locked into your offense and you have this many weapons on that side of the football, for us to see this time and time again and for them to only able to get 6 points in that second half again. I mean, we kept seeing this.
It was a carryover from the Bills game is what it was.
And I said to you on Friday, because I said, I'm feeling confident. You were feeling confident. I said, but why are we so confident? This team has told us for 18 weeks they can't put a full game together.
By the way, think about my reasons why I was comfortable. I want you to think about it. Because I felt like this was like a Raiders defense with injuries.
And they
destroyed the Raiders.
Robert Saleh outcoached Kevin Patullo. So now the big question is,
how hard could that be?
Will Kevin Patullo be replaced? Well, right after the game last night, one of the first questions to the head coach, Nick Sirianni, was what did you think of Kevin Patullo's performance? Here was Nick.
Again, will be time to evaluate everybody's performance. Right now, I feel for all our guys in the locker room, all the players, all the coaches, the front office, everybody that works so hard, the fans that come out and support us, Mr. Lurie, I just feel for all of us, all of them, and, there'll be time to evaluate everything coming up.
All right, so I understand he wasn't going to come out yesterday after the game and say we're making a change, but where I disagree, there's not time to evaluate. If you're going to move on from Kevin Patullo, you got to do it now.
Didn't we try this before?
Yes, in 2023, when that Super Bowl ended in 22, which was in February of 23, and you lost both your offensive and defensive coordinators, you were so far behind the eight ball because all the good candidates were already hired as either head coaches or coordinators. You lost out on Vic Fangio. You had to hire Sean Desai. How did that work out? You didn't have any better options outside of Brian Johnson. They need to move on from Patullo now. Fair or not, even though I'm not putting all the blame on him, you need to move on now. You got to start your interview process now to give yourselves the best chance to hiring the right candidate. The longer you wait, the less options you're going to have, Ricky. He doesn't have time to evaluate it.
Here's what
we've been evaluating for 18
weeks.
You
have your players in there right now today. How do they not know already if they're going to get rid of the offensive coordinator? How would you not know? This has got to be a decision that Howie and Jeff Lurie were sitting there watching the game the other day, and when that final whistle went, let me ask you something. If you were the GM, would you not have an answer right there?
Right away. I mean, look, you and I were talking about it last week.
What if they keep him?
We asked the question to our listeners last week. Is there anything he could do to save his job? And a lot of people said no.
Right.
And you and I were talking, look, if they look good in a couple games in the postseason, you probably think about bringing him back for that continuity and all that. You knew going into this game, if it was more of the same, you got to make a change. So they have to know. It's just a matter of when are they going to announce it.
But I think you're right. I think, look, there's already how many head coaching jobs that are out there right now. And I get it. You know what? Offensive coordinators will take a head coaching job before they go back to an offensive coordinator. But if you wait too long, those guys that could be head coaches that don't get those jobs end up offensive or defensive coordinators, and you may have somebody out there that you would want, and he's already gone.
Yeah, I mean, there's already names coming to mind. Like, you got Mike McDaniel out there. He's interviewing with the Cleveland Browns for their head coaching job. Well, if he doesn't get it, he may have to settle for an OC job. You want to get in on those interviews. Kevin Stefanski's out there. Brian Dable, I wouldn't hire him, but he's out there.
Stefanski's going to get a job.
They may, but if they don't, you're right. You got to be in those interviews. You got to get this guy in the building now. So we'll see. If anything breaks before the end of the show about Kevin Patullo, we'll let you know. But here's the interesting thing. When you listen to us and other shows and the fan base, we all immediately go to Patullo. I wasn't expecting the players to throw him under the bus last night, but all the players came out and kind of supported him. And even Jalen Hurts, last night, right after the game at his press conference, was asked about Kevin Patullo. He said, you can't blame just one guy. Listen to your quarterback.
I think I'm always growing. I'm always taking in my experiences and learning from everything that we go through. It's tough to single out one individual, especially in a moment like this. We all got to improve. That's how I look at everything that we go through.
So I don't disagree with Jalen. They all have to improve, but you got to change something. And you're not going to be able to completely change your entire offensive unit with all the money and all the contracts you have tied into it. So you're going to have to go out there and hire a coordinator. And I do think it'll be similar to what you saw before last season, where they went and they got a proven commodity in Kellen Moore. You got to do it. Both years now that you went and got a guy that had no experience calling plays and no experience as an OC, it didn't work. Brian Johnson didn't work. Kevin Patullo didn't work.
Yeah, I think you got to go for like a veteran leadership almost type thing, a guy who's been there, done that, a guy that's not afraid to get his nose dirty. I mean, isn't that what you really need with a Kellen Moore? You think he was afraid to talk to people and let people know how he wanted things run? No.
And not only that, too, we've talked a lot about calling plays as an art, not a science. Patullo never figured it out. He never looked like a guy. When you saw Shanahan calling plays in that game, you could see the difference, right? I mean, one guy is an experienced play caller.
A lot of movement, things going on offense. There's a lot of thinking that you have to do on defense. I think the Eagles got a little stale. And ironically, one of the better plays they run is an RPO last night. And it was just a run by Saquon, but I was like, you know what? Look what they showed there. Two guys could take the ball and run, or he could just drop back and pass. Why not a lot more of that? It works with Jalen Hurts.
Now, if I would have asked you on Friday, one quarterback is going to carry the ball 9 times, and the other quarterback's going to only have 5 carries.
I would have said Jalen would be the 9.
Yeah, no, Brock Purdy runs the ball 9 times. And I was looking at numbers earlier from Paul Hembo of ESPN. If you take out the tush push, Jalen Hurts' design runs last season, he had 96 of them. This year, only 41. We have been pounding our fist on the table all season saying, he's got to run the ball more. He's got to run the ball more. And I thought, all right, headed into the postseason, they'll throw caution to the wind. Bill, they still didn't do it.
Yes, I thought they would too. I thought they would come out and let him do whatever he wants. But you know what else was interesting? He wasn't going for that extra yard in this game. He was taking a seat whenever he possibly could.
I thought that, and again, I'm putting more of the blame on the OC, and I don't think Hurts played terribly, but Hurts certainly did not elevate his game like we've grown accustomed to, where you've seen him play his best in the biggest moments. Hurts didn't have the greatest of games. He didn't. And look, we're going to continue to break this down. Here's what we're going to do today, because today is your day. It is a big reaction day for Eagles fans out there. You could weigh in on all of your thoughts about this Eagles season. 610-632-0975. There's many ways to engage with this show. You can call, you can text, and you can send your voice memos. We're going to do We Hear You twice today. So normally we do it at 5:25. We'll still do it then. We're also going to do it at 3:45 because I know a lot of people have strong opinions about this Eagles season. 610-632-0975. Your calls, your texts, your voice memos. I know a lot of people need to vent today, Ricky Bo.
You know what? I think we both needed to. It's kind of, that's the best thing about this job is that you come on, you can get it off your chest right away.
Yeah, I don't know how. Right, I still don't feel better yet.
You're not gonna,
18 minutes.
That's the worst part is that you're not going to feel better. And the worst, even worse than that, is the next game is not until September.
And Silvana Kelleher back from vacation. What a day to come back to, Silvana.
I know, right?
You excited?
Is it my fault? Is it my fault?
Yes.
I don't know. I just knew that was going to come back. It's going to be 4 hours of high blood pressure all day.
Yeah, it's get used to it. Buckle in because we got a lot to get into today. So here's what I want to do coming up. You mentioned A.J. Brown and that whole exchange. Will A.J. Brown be back next year? And what happened on the sidelines? We'll hear what Nick Sirianni said about that exchange. And then the other big question, will Jake Elliott be back next year? Well, I caught up with him in the locker room. I asked him what happened on that extra point miss. We'll hear what he had to say about missing that crucial extra point, where if he makes it, maybe you're kicking a field goal and going to overtime in this game. A lot more to get to. Do not go anywhere. Unfiltered. 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports Philadelphia.